Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. So, how are you guys? Hope you are doing well. Yeah, sure. I will do Euro USD first on my screen now, actually. So, I'll just jump right into that. But yeah, guys, feel free to leave any charts they want me to look at in the chat, and I will take a look at it. So, Euro USD so far looking quite bearish. Coming in from last week and still into this week, we're looking quite bearish. We're seeing that momentum kind of spill into this week. Again, like I did say in my weekly analysis, I want to see some retracement for this, and we haven't really seen much of that. So far on Monday. The market kind of just spilling over to the downside. Still do have our targets all the way down here at that 1.17 area, kind of just below that area there. So yeah, I'm still seeing more downside, but I do want to see the market pull back up for Euro USD. We do have price support, now term resistance here. So as you can see there on the daily. So if we come back up, we test that, come down again, that'll be a great opportunity on the lower time frames for our hourly, 15-minute, so on, so on. So as you can see, we've broken through that support now. That's our target there. We're not too far away from it, but we are running a little bit of steam. So if Euro USD can push up one more time back into this area of price support and our term resistance, maybe form a little bit of a double top between that resistance there and that resistance there, come up, fail to break through it, nice rejections, we can sell it back down into that support there, 1.171, and maybe even a little bit further, maybe some new lows as well. So I do expect more downside for Euro USD. It could be a situation where price just kind of leaks to the downside, hits that target without that pullback. In that case, maybe if we're going to lower time frames, maybe if we retrace back into this level here, and then you could probably look to sell it back down from here if we can retrace it, sell it back down to there. But again, I'm more fan of a risk to rewards situation. I know the risk to reward won't be that great selling from there back down again, so I'm waiting for market to pull back a little bit more back into this resistance here around the 1.17650. If it can pull back there, that'll be great. Drop to the hourly, 15-minute, something like that, and trade it back down into these lows, that daily low there. So looking for retracement, double top there, take it back down to that support. But like I said, we might not even get that. It could just spill to the downside back to those lows. So unless you're really in the trade, I'm kind of just waiting for price to pull back into that support now, retest that, and then come back down. So that's what I'm looking for Euro USD, but only looking for shorts. Maybe I might look for buys if we do get there. I'll probably see what type of price action we're getting, because this is awfully bearish. Don't really want to go against it too much unless I see some nice strong rejections from that area. Then yeah, maybe I could look to buy it back up again, back into that resistance, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Just waiting for that retracement to take it back down again. Yeah, sure, we'll take a look at CAD JPY and the 4H. So CAD JPY, so far the market kind of has been consolidating. You can see here, I think that's from Monday, last week Friday, coming into Monday, now into Tuesday. The market has been kind of just ranging between this support and that resistance. Overall, the market is still at daily resistance. If I jump to the daily chart quickly, you can see if I just take an average price of those wicks there, we do have nice resistance there, nice rejection, came back up again, nice rejection, came back up again, expecting to see a nice rejection back again to the downside. But so far we are just trading at that daily resistance. If you do break through it, then we might be seeing a little bit more upside, maybe back into this level up here. That could be a possible scenario for CAD JPY if we do break through this. However, as you can see, so far we are stalling at this resistance level here. We've seen a nice wick rejection, price pull back, again, price pull back, bearish candle closure yesterday, and so far we're coming back into that same level. So as long as that level can hold, I do see more downside for CAD JPY, really key level of daily resistance. So if I go back down to the 4H, you can see we are consolidating there, and overall price is not really clear. We've got some nice 4-hour resistance there, price is coming back into. If I go on the hourly time frame, we are looking a little bit bullish. So I think if CAD JPY can have a really strong rejection at this level here, see some downside like that, maybe form a lower high, and then we could probably leak over to the downside. That could be a really nice situation. Like I said, I'll probably wait for a little bit more development with this one, wait for price to start forming some lower highs there. It was doing that, however, it's pushed back up again into that resistance, and if it does go and break through this, I'll probably sit on the sidelines, because CAD JPY might want to have a breakout in the higher time frames. back up to that level up there. Like I said on the daily, if you can break through that, if you see a daily closure, so like if today's candle was to close above that level on the daily, then we'll probably see some nice breakouts later on in the week back up to that level there. So probably change my whole bias completely. But for now, I'm bearish on CAD JPY, looking for the market to sell off. As you can see, we do have a little bit of a head and shoulders going on, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, so we could potentially fall from this level here. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. But like I said, it's a little bit unclear. The market is kind of consolidating a little bit. For CAD JPY, it's broken to the upside a little bit this morning, but overall still underneath that resistance, so it hasn't really broken out of anything, of any resistance yet. So I'll see what happens at this level here. If you can see a nice strong rejection to the downside from CAD JPY, so something like that, and then it forms another lower high here, because take it down, and I do expect to see CAD JPY give us a nice movement. But if it starts breaking through this, I'll probably just sit in the sidelines, wait to see what CAD JPY wants to do, and then react from there. But so far, as long as we stay underneath that, my bias is the downside. We'll be looking to sell CAD JPY back into the support down there. Yeah, sure, we'll take a look at GU and AU now. So GU overall, we are still looking bearish in this pair. Again, I did say my targets for this pair this week would be this area here. First target on the 1.38 mark around here, so we haven't hit any of them yet. I do still expect to see more downside for pound USD this week. So far, market is a little bit choppy, but it looks like we're breaking out this consolidation here finally that we were trapped in from last week, and it looks like the market has come back to retest this support here. I believe that was on Monday, retest that support. We've seen some nice downside momentum. So I think as long as we stay underneath this level here, I think pound USD should be on its way to the downside. If it starts taking back again this level, starts trading above that, maybe retest that support and continues to go up again, then we'll probably had a bit of a false breakout of that. And yeah, I'll probably stay away from pound USD if that was to happen, because then we're back inside this consolidation and it doesn't become really clear. However, right now it is quite clear for pound USD. Got that bearish bias for pound USD on the higher time frames, and so far this structure is quite bearish. As you can see, nice drop, consolidation, we're dropping to the downside again. Now I've just retested that price support as resistance. So I think if you can come back here again, that'll be great. That'll be a nice selling opportunity, and then take it back down to 1.38 and then potentially 1.37500. So yeah, pound USD does look good for selling opportunities. We're going to hourly, a bit of a push to the upside this morning, although we're still below that key level of resistance, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But yeah, if pound USD was to slowly creep to the upside today, test that area, reject it, I'll definitely be looking to short the pair back down again, back down until 1.38 and maybe 1.37500. So yeah, that's what I would be looking for pound USD today stroke tomorrow, if we can get that retest. But yeah, more downside for pound USD is what I'm seeing. AUD/USD, same thing for this one. I did say this one I'm expecting to see some new lows for AUD/USD past this point here, which is around 0.73, just underneath 0.73. Yeah, I'm expecting more downside for AUD/USD, but again, want to see that retracement. I did point out this level here on my weekly analysis. If you can retrace it into this level here, nice resistance, was acting as support, retest that, come down again. However, as you can see, the market is looking quite bearish here on the 4H, and it hasn't retraced that level yet. It still could do, it could still come up, hit that level and come back down again, which would be a great opportunity. The risk to reward will be really attractive there. But yeah, we are looking quite bearish. We might not see that retracement happen. We might only see a little bit. We have formed this resistance here again for AUD/USD. So if we don't retrace all the way up there, we potentially could retrace to here, reject that again, form a nice double top, something like that. Reject it once, reject it again, collapse to the downside, back into these lows here, and then probably expecting some new lows, maybe at 0.72500. But yeah, same as last week for AUD/USD, looking for those selling opportunities. Bit of a trend line here in the market, as you can see. First test there, second test there, third, broke through, retested it the fourth time. So it'd be great to see the market can come back up again, retest that, and then come back down. So kind of like the same opportunity I'm looking for AUSD and pound USD to come up, retest that resistance it formed on Monday. As you can see, come back up, retest this resistance here on Monday, and then sell it back down again. Same thing I'm waiting for AUSD, come up, retest that resistance, sell it back down. So very similar opportunity. Probably just pick the best pair out of both of them, but I do think both of them are looking like really good opportunities. There is a chance that we might not retrace obviously up into those areas because the market is bearish and it can fall at any point. We've seen some nice momentum to the upside this morning or overnight kind of. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not too keen on selling AUSD here. If I'm really not in the trade from there or further up, yeah, I'll probably leave it alone for a bit, wait for it to retrace a little bit more first, and then I'll look probably to get involved, take it back down to 0.73, back to those lows, and then maybe even further than that. But yeah, AUSD for me, a little bit more retracement will look good, and then take it back down again into those lows, and same thing for pound USD as well. A little bit more retracement, take it back into those lows. So expecting more dollar strength this week after the momentum that we saw last week. So I'm expecting more of that. So I'm expecting most of these pairs to be heading to the downside, apart from USD CAD, of course, and USD could be seeing some more upside for that pair, for those pairs. Pound JPY and the 4H, we'll take a look at that. So I was in a trade for this one. I've been stopped out on this pair. I was looking for a nice push to the downside back into these lows here for pound JPY. I still do have that bearish. I still do have that bearish bias for pound JPY as long as we stay below this resistance here. If we start taking that out, unless it's a false break, of course, I might be on the sidelines or flip my bias to bullish. But I do expect to see most of these JPY pairs fall to the downside. We did kind of see that happen a little bit yesterday. So we did see some downside from Euro JPY. We saw some downside for AUD JPY. Saw some downside CHF JPY. Quite a lot of downside for that pair. But like pound JPY and CAD JPY kind of just consolidated a little bit. Did see a little bit of downside, but not much. And as you can see for this pair, we actually broke into the upside. Was looking for a potential nice head and shoulders for the price to collapse to the downside. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then push down. But as you can see, we did find some support early on in the market, held that, and then pushed to the upside. So we are looking a little bit bullish with that momentum. Well, we are looking quite bullish actually with that momentum there this morning. But we're still underneath this kind of last major high of the market, but we are looking bullish. So yeah, I would not be looking to sell pound JPY as it is now, but I'll probably wait for the market to develop a little bit more. I don't want to look for buyers really coming into this resistance up here. Doesn't make too much sense for me. I probably, if I wanted to buy the pair, I'll be looking at further down. But yeah, I'm biased to the downside, so I'm waiting for that selling opportunity. However, with that momentum, it's looking very bullish. So we'll probably come back into this resistance here, see what the market wants to do, whether it wants to break through or whether it wants to hold. If it wants to hold, great. Wait to see some price action there, wick rejections, price lose momentum, gain some bearish momentum, and then look to catch it back down again, and then sell it off. But as you can see, we're looking too bullish there, so I'm just staying away from pound JPY. As of right now, you can see on the daily we had a nice doji here, collapse to the downside, nice doji, bearish candle. However, we haven't had that same collapse, but we're still kind of in that resistance there. If I just take this across, you can see this is kind of the resistance the daily is respecting. Nice test there, big collapse to the downside, another collapse, and we'll see what happens here, whether you break through or whether you still remain holding. I did point out on my weekly analysis that we do have this trend line coming through the market here. So as you can see, just connecting all of these wicks, had a nice test, nice collapse. We're coming into that trend line again. So we've got that trend line, we've got that resistance. It depends what the daily wants to do. If we see a massive bullish candle today closing, well above this trend line, well above that resistance, there's a good chance we could be in a breakout for pound JPY. But if the market does pull back, we pull back underneath that resistance, pull back underneath that trend line, then we'll probably just had a bit of a fake move to the upside, and we could see some nice selling opportunities coming in tomorrow later on the week. So yeah, pound JPY still underneath that resistance. I'm still looking for selling opportunities, but just not now. It's still too bullish there, especially with that 4-hour close, that hourly momentum there. Don't want to go against that, so I'll see what happens there. We could turn bullish, and if that's the case, I'll look to turn my bias bullish once I've seen a nice break of those key aspects, the trend line and the resistance. But so far, I'm not seeing much there for pound JPY. I'll probably just leave it alone until a little bit more information comes into play from that resistance. Still looking a little bit too bullish there in my opinion. And I think we've just seen some strength of pound pretty much across the board. You can see pound CAD, well, it's not really too much for pound CAD. We had a bit of a spike to the downside, market pulled back up again, but as you can see for pound CAD, yeah, we're pretty much consolidating those wicks everywhere. Very, very ugly price action. Definitely not a pair that I'm looking to get involved in with that price action. Maybe if we get a massive spike to the upside, comes back down again, that'll give me some clarity, because it looks like the market probably just went for a nice stop hunt, and then potentially you could break to the downside. But with price action like that, I'm just going to leave this pair alone. At the start of the week, I was expecting to see the market dump to the downside. Still am, sort of, but that price action is giving me less and less confidence. And price could just break out in any which way direction it could do. So I'll probably just leave pound CAD alone. It's a little bit of a choppy pair anyway. Definitely choppy price action. Maybe if you can get a nice break and retest, something like that, might give us some more clarity. But yeah, there's nothing there for pound CAD. Potentially could actually break to the upside back into this resistance here. If that's the case, we could be seeing a break of that and a push into that wick all the way up there. But we'll see what happens with pound CAD. So far, very, very unclear pair, so we'll be staying away from that as of now. USD CAD for this pair, I did say the market has come back into that area consolidation from 2 weeks ago. As you can see here, we were trading in this price action here, consolidating off that massive drop, and then the market dropped again to the downside, and now we're back in that area. So I'm just going to be expecting USD CAD to do the exact same thing it did over here, and do it again over here as well. The market is now holding that as support. You can see some nice rejection there on Monday. So I'm just expecting that momentum to take us to the upside, back into this resistance here, and then probably reject us back down again and sell it back down. So there could be some nice short-term selling opportunities for USD CAD back at this resistance here, sell it back down into that support. So that's kind of an opportunity that I am looking at for USD CAD. Of course, if the risk to reward is not there, then I probably won't take it, because we are a little bit tight for space there. If I do measure that, probably about 56 pips. So if you can get a nice stop loss on that, could be a really nice risk to reward, because normally when you see price break into consolidation like this after it's broken out, comes back in, you normally do see the market consolidate for a little bit before it does break out eventually. So yeah, I'm expecting that consolidation to break out again. There was a nice buying opportunity from here, that support, take it back up into that resistance, and now I do expect to see the exact same happen again from this resistance back into that same support. So I do see a nice selling opportunity happening there for USD CAD later on today, if we can get that push, or maybe tomorrow, depending when we hit that resistance, of course. But I do see some nice selling opportunities from there back down into that support. So nice short-term selling opportunity if we can push into that level, of course. Gold, we had a massive sell-off pretty much as the market opened. You can see a massive push to the downside. I don't think we quite made new lows. past that point, so we almost did. We pretty much tapped into the previous low, 1680. Massive sell off there for gold. Again, we did have that bearish bias, but momentum there was just far too strong, unless you got in some early retracement on the lower time frames. And when I'm talking lower time frames, I mean like 1 minute, 5 minutes, something like that. Unless you got into any pullbacks pretty much as the market opened. And this move definitely happened without us here. Was waiting for a bit of retracement, but of course, as you can see, that has just not happened. I'm probably planning to stay away from gold after this now. I want the market to settle, give me some nice direction, and then I'll probably look to get involved again for gold. We have broken through this area of support here, very strong area of support. As you can see, massive moves from this level. So if we do come back up in here, this will be acting as resistance, so there might be some nice short-term sells back down again. I'm not taking it all the way back down to here, nothing crazy, just a short-term reaction from that resistance back down again. So that's really what I'll be looking for gold if that was to happen. But like I said, I want to see the market settle first, relax, because I know a lot of people would have probably suffered a quite big hit to the bank account after that if they were obviously looking to buy that without a stop loss. So yeah, I'm going to wait for gold to settle a bit and then look for some clarity after that. Nice key level to come back and retest that. That would be great. And then we could look for some selling opportunities after that. But yeah, gold, crazy move. Not really interested in trading that pair right now. Next, we're going to take a look at USD JPY. So for this pair, again, bias is still to the upside for USD JPY. Expecting more bullish momentum to the upside. Targets for this one was, and it still is, this area here, just below 111, so 110,800 area. That's the area I'm expecting price to come and retest. I did say I want to see price retrace first, so if you can come back, retrace into this level here, because I was looking for price to come back into this support all the way down there. But as you can see, the market is just far too bullish and it hasn't really, retraced hardly anything. It did this on Monday, I'm pretty sure, and then Tuesday we're pushing to the upside there quite aggressively. So the next area of retracement I want to see is this here, kind of the 110 level. If price can push to the downside, come back, retest this, and then push on, there could be some nice buying opportunities there on the hourly, 15-minute, lower time frames back again to the upside. But USD/JPY firmly fixed on buys back up to 110,800. So I want to see if the market can come back down again, retest that, form a nice double bottom there. So first, second test, and then push back up to 110,800. But we're looking quite bullish anyway, so the market could just slowly just creep and go and hit that area. And then maybe from here again, there might be some nice selling opportunities back down again, but we'll have to see what price action it is giving us, because if it does keep up this momentum, it could actually break through that level and go a little bit higher than that. So do have to watch out for that. But yeah, USD/JPY, if it was to retrace back into this level, form a nice double bottom, I do see a good opportunity to go long there for USD/JPY. So yeah, biases to the upside for that pair. And I do suspect more upside to come. Yeah, sure, we'll take a look at DXY on the hourly. So DXY, very bullish coming into this week, and it's still bullish this week as well. We're still pushing to the upside. If I just highlight the highs, which are over here. So that's probably where the DXY wants to go. If I go on the hourly, you can see we are still quite bullish. So yeah, more upside for the DXY. So far, we've broken through this resistance here quite nicely. So maybe if the DXY can retrace back into here, then push on again, that could be a nice opportunity there for the DXY to see some more strength to the upside, because I do expect to see that 93, 150 region get hit there this week, probably even the next couple of days or so. So I'm expecting more upside there for the DXY. And yeah, potentially go and hit that 93, 150, but I want to see price retrace first, which will probably allow, Euro USD, Pound USD, AUD USD to retrace with it as well. And then we could look to take some more long opportunities for the DXY and short opportunities for those pairs I just mentioned. So DXY on the hourly still looking bullish here. I'm still expecting that test of 93.50. We've seen some nice bullish structure there. Push, pull back, push, pull back. So yeah, I'm expecting more upside from there. It'll be nice to come back and retest this, which could mean that other pairs can retrace as well. But 93.50 is where I do expect to see price to head to, and probably even past that as well. Euro USD has just given us some new lows past the prior point here. So I do expect DXY to follow in Euro USD's footsteps and actually take out this resistance and see some higher highs above that. Maybe push into the 93,500 mark, which is all the way up there. So yeah, I'm expecting more and more upside there for the DXY this week. If we do reject this area, then we might be looking at some temporary sell-offs, but nonetheless, I'm expecting more upside from the DXY back into the 93,150 area, and then so on, depending how far we can get that. A break and retest of this level will probably mean price will go a lot further, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But as of right now, hourly still looking bullish. It'd be nice to see if the market come back down, retest that, and then more upside from there on. But DXY firmly fixed to that bullish bias and expecting more of that to the upside for this pair. So I'm expecting Euro USD to still be heading down, Euro JPY still be heading down. This one, we're seeing some bullish momentum coming into the market this morning, as you can see there, nice push. But overall, you can see if I zoom out a little bit, Euro JPY is still very much a bearish market. We do have this key level running through this area here. As you can see, some really nice area of support, 1, 2, 3, bit of a false break there, 4, 5, 6, and now it's broken through, and now hopefully that will be acting as resistance. So if this can act as resistance here, I do see Euro JPY collapsing to the downside, back into this support here. Then if you can break through that, back into these lows all the way down there. So Euro JPY does have a lot of mileage to the downside, I do see that. But if we can hold that, I do see some nice selling opportunities to take that back down again. And if Euro USD does fall, there's a good chance Euro JPY wants to fall with it and see some more downside for that pair. We'll take a look at Pound USD. So Pound USD, like I said, for this one, I'm expecting more downside for Pound USD, but I do want to see some retracement first for this pair. Of course, we don't have to have that retracement, but I would like to see that retracement to give me a better opportunity to sell the pair. I'm looking at this area here, which is prior consolidation. The support of that consolidation, now time resistance. We did reject it there quite nicely on Monday. Nice collapse to the downside, and now we're finding some nice momentum again to the upside. So I want to see if price can come up, retest this area, form a nice double top potentially. So 1, 2, and then collapse again to the downside. I'm waiting for that retracement back to 1.388, this level here. And if you can reject that, show some nice wicks. Now we'll be looking for Pound USD shorts back down until 1.38, which is this level all the way down there. So more downside for Pound USD. If we actually can break through that, then I do expect to see this level get reached as well this week, 1.37500. So more downside for Pound USD, but I want to see that pull back up first because we are looking a little bit bullish there on the hourly. So I don't really want to sell it into that. I want to see if price can carry that bullish momentum a little bit more to the upside, reject this area here, and then I'll look to sell it back down again and back into these lows here, 1.38, then 1.37500. So that is what I'm looking for Pound USD and kind of most of the USD pairs as well. AUD/USD waiting for the same thing. I think entity USD is looking a little bit bearish, but I'm still waiting to see if the market can come back into this kind of area here, reject that, and then fall to the downside again. So kind of waiting for the same opportunity for a lot of these USD pairs. So I'll probably look for the best one, and then look to see if I can take it back down again. We'll take a look at EuroCAD as well. EuroCAD looking quite bearish here. This pair has a little bit choppy recently. Pound CAD is also a little bit choppy, so they both tend to move a little bit similar. They don't correlate too well, but they both have CAD, and as you can see, the price action is a little bit choppy for this one, but we are looking bearish here still from last week. Nice momentum to the downside after rejecting that resistance. I do see more downside for EuroCAD for this pair. I did have that bullish bias from last week, but I've flipped that to bearish now. Looking at the price action on the daily, you can see here the market's collapsed to the downside, tried to turn bullish again, however it's failed to do that. It's rejected this resistance here. Nice tweezer tops there, wick, one wick, second wick, collapsed to the downside, and now it's potentially breaking through this support. So I'm seeing more downside for EuroCAD back into this wick here. They're going to 4H. So back into kind of this area here where that wick is. So I'm expecting more downside, and if you can break past that, probably into this area here as well. So EuroCAD looking a little bit choppy here, as you can see. we saw all that momentum there, and now the market's kind of losing that momentum a little bit. So I think EuroCAD could be getting ready for some upside. Yeah, so we're getting ready for some upside, but I do think it'll be short-lived for price to come back down and come and test these areas. So we do have some support here, which we've just broken through. Again, I probably want to see price, push a lot further to the downside to classify it as a break and retest. It's kind of a little bit too choppy for me to, have that clarity there first. So we do have this kind of mid-level between those two areas of support and resistance. So if we can break to the upside again, retest this, that'll be great, and then collapse again to the downside. I do see there's a nice opportunity there, or if we can break above that, and there could be some nice short-term buys from that support back into this mid-level there around the 1.48 400 mark. But for me, EuroCAD, looking at from that daily time frame, it looks like momentum is the downside, and I do expect to see these levels get taken out here for EuroCAD. So that buy there could be just be temporary, but I do see the bigger swing for EuroCAD is to the downside. So if you can see a bit more retracement for this pair, because I don't really like selling the market when it looks like this. Very choppy price action, and normally do see price break to the upside first before it eventually does come back down. So I want to see if EuroCAD can break to the upside, retest this area here, come back down, or push further to the downside, come back up, retest this, and then sell off to the downside. Something like that could be a little bit more appealing there for EuroCAD. But I do expect more downside for this pair, but first a move up to the upside to retrace some of that price action here. So we did have quite a steep sell-off from last week, so I still think the market wants to retrace some of that move. So after the market can have that retracement, I do see some nice selling opportunities coming after that. So yeah, more downside for EuroCAD, but first a move to the upside I expect. No problem, yeah, and I'll take a look at ADCHF right now. So ADCHF, we've been climbing to the upside quite steadily for this pair, as you can see, actually really steadily, to be fair. You can see the market kind of just respecting this trend line really well there. So ADCHF momentum is quite consistent, push, pullback. We're seeing a lot of that here on the 4H, and overall the market is looking quite bullish in the 4H. On the bigger scale things, the market is looking a little bit bearish overall, not a little bit, very bearish. Collapse to the downside from this level here, 0.72, all the way back down to 0.66 almost. So big sell-off we've had recently for ADCHF, but we are pulling back, and I think we're just going to pull back into the same resistance here. Seen a lot of choppy price action here for ADCHF recently, but I think a little bit more upside before we do see the market fall to the downside there. Nice resistance there on the daily, so around the 0.67800. I think I see ADCHF just slowly creeping to the upside, and then from here we might struggle and see a nice sell-off, maybe back down into this area of support there. Really nice support. We'll be acting as support there again. Maybe that could be forming a big head and shoulder, something like that. We'll probably need price to develop a little bit more to call that idea as a potential opportunity. But first, I think a little bit more upside for ADCHF. The market is a little bit choppy here, so it is difficult to sell. Again, there could be some nice buying opportunities potentially, like I said, and maybe another move back into that trend line. If you see a nice spike through, something like that, a bit of a liquidity grab, and then buy it back up again into that resistance there. So that could be some nice temporary buys there. But I think from that resistance there, we could see some nice downside back again, and then probably see either ADCHF have that reversal or remain bearish on the daily. So yeah, a bit more upside for this pair. Again, if it was to pull back into that trend line, there could be some nice buying opportunities to take it up into that resistance around the 0.67800 mark. And then if you can reject that, I do see some nice selling opportunities back down again from there. So buying from that trend line back up again, and then selling it from that resistance. Of course, wait for some nice rejection, maybe some nice lower high formations from this area, because the market is quite bullish and it could actually just break through that area and continue further. So don't want to sell it too prematurely, so do watch out for that. But yeah, the market is bullish, and I think as long as it stays above that trend line, we should be moving into this area here. Then from there, we could see some nice sell-offs from there. But overall, we have seen some strength in the AU this morning. You can see ADJPY, we are pushing to the upside a little bit there after a nice sell-off that we had on Monday. So far, this pair is a little bit choppy, I have to admit. We did break through this trend line here, and looks like the market's kind of retesting that as support a little bit. So as you can see, resistance once, resistance the second time, resistance the third time, broke through support. So it looks like the market is trying to turn bullish. I wouldn't say it has. It looks like it's trying. Maybe if you can break through that upper trend line there, we'll probably see a little bit more momentum for this one. But yeah, ADJPY is just a little bit choppy for me. Yeah, a little bit choppy for me, but it does look like potentially it wants to turn bullish. So maybe if we see that momentum continue a little bit more and then retrace something like that, then yeah, there could be some nice buying opportunities there, form a nice barrier of support and then take it again to the upside, back into this resistance up here. So we could see that happen. That could be a really nice opportunity if it does happen as well. But I wouldn't say, we've had that break and retest confirmed just yet from ADJPY. It does look like it's in progress, but I wouldn't say overall it just has happened yet. So a little bit more upside I want to see, come back down, form a nice support, and then yeah, potential buys into that resistance, because it does look like AU NZD wants to turn a little bit bullish this week. But again, the strength of the JPY will play a big factor in that as well. Whether you see a strong or weak JPY. If we do, then we'll probably see pound CAD JPY start breaking to the upside, and ADJPY definitely falling suit back into that resistance, and maybe even further as well. So do keep an eye on this pair, because it could develop quite nicely to some upside. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's quite ready just yet. So do be aware of that. AUD as well. Haven't seen so much strength for this pair as we did some other AD pairs. As you can see, kind of just falling to the downside quite steadily as well. Price action is a little bit choppy for this one, respecting that trend line quite well, and respecting that trend line as support quite well. So overall, really not any appealing opportunity there for me for AUD. Recently, we had a quite nice and break and retest of this support here. So price support once, second time, broke, retested it, came back, looks like it's retested it again. If I just move those trend lines, another retest. So overall price is still bearish here for AUD. On the daily, rejected that, and we're seeing that momentum pick up to the downside. So we could see more downside happen if the market does stay below this trend line. If it does stay below that trend line, then we could see more downside. If it was to break through that trend line, then we probably might see another drive back into this resistance up there. So AUD, I tend to stay away from this pair because it can be a little bit choppy, and the opportunity is not very clear as of yet. So I'm still waiting to see where we get a break or not. If you do get a break of that trend line, then yeah, probably a drive back into that resistance. If not, then I do expect the markets just to slowly trickle to the downside back into those lows there. So yeah, really not anything new there for AUD. Kind of be doing the exact same thing for the past few weeks now. NZD same sort of thing as well. For this one, in my weekly analysis, I did say I do expect more downside for NZD. It looks like we are still getting that move. Again, the first target was this support here, and as you can see, we're not too far away from that support. So potentially we could see NZD maybe leak to the downside a little bit more, test this, and then see some upside from there potentially. Or if we are lucky, we could see it drive back down into that support there, and then from there we might see a nice push to the upside. But overall, both of these pairs are a little bit choppy, and when you get price action like this, it does show that momentum is not really with the move to the downside, and we could see a quick impulsive snap to the opposite side. In this case, it is to the upside. So from this support, was acting as a really nice support last time, might be acting as support again if we can hold, then we might be seeing some upside there for NZD. But yeah, I'm not seeing any opportunity yet for those pairs, so we'll be on the sidelines, and they are looking bearish still, so no opportunity to buy those pairs just yet. CAD JPY, yeah, sure thing. Intraday, so yeah, CAD JPY on the higher time frames 4H, we are a bit do have a bit of consolidation there, so it's not completely clear for this pair. But if we're going like the 15-minute, you can see we did have quite a big breakout to the upside there for this pair, so quite a big push to the upside, looking quite bullish there. You can see the market is at that resistance 87,900. If I take that across, you can see resistance there, bit of a false break there, and now we'll be acting as resistance here again. So CAD JPY for me, I think we can see a bit more upside, especially with all that momentum that we just saw come into play this morning. I do see more of that momentum coming in later in the day, but we do have a bit of an obstacle in our way, which is this 87,900. So maybe if we can get above this area, come back down, retest the holder support, that'll probably be a better buying opportunity there to take it to the upside. Because if we do reject this area here, we could actually sell off again and start, coming back into play this consolidation, and then maybe even see a lot more downside from there from CAD JPY. So the momentum here from the intraday level is definitely to the upside, and if you are looking to buy with that momentum, I probably wouldn't buy where it is now. We are seeing some nice rejection here though, so it is implying that the bulls are still in play in this one and still trying to take this market higher. So I'll probably wait for price to just push to the upside a little bit more, back above 87,900, come back, retest that as support again, form another lower high, something like that, and then take it back up again. And then targets for this one, I'll probably say would have to be the top of that wick there as the first target, because we could still come back to that wick, reject it, fall to the downside, and maybe some levels here as well, kind of 88,100. So around there we could be looking to target, but from an intraday perspective, momentum's to the upside, and if you're looking to trade for that momentum, probably wait for that resistance to break, come back, retest it, take it to the top of that wick, and then maybe that level up there. So there is some mileage to the upside if CAD JPY can break through this, but again, don't want to buy it too premature, because if we don't break through this level here, that level could actually send CAD JPY right back down again, because previously, as you can see, after the false break, it's sent it back down here, sent it back down as well. So do watch out for that for CAD JPY, but if you do get above it, I think there'll be some nice buying opportunities to take it to the upside and just fill the gap between that resistance there, which now will be support if you do break and retest it, and just fill it to the top of that wick over there where we had that false breakout. So that'll probably be a nice opportunity if that does come about, but yeah, I'll probably wait to see that breakout first above that level. And price still might want to retrace a little bit more as well, because we are coming to that resistance. So we could see this choppy price action continue for a little bit before we do have that breakout. So again, probably just wait for that break to happen, and then there could be a better buying opportunity, in my opinion anyway, just take it to the upside. But yeah, if that momentum is firmly to the upside, if we can get above, then I do see a push to that 88,040 and then maybe 88,100 after that. Because we do have this consolidation here, so price might want to come back into that consolidation if it fails to break through that resistance, and then we could see that momentum, turn on its head really back to the bears. So don't really want to be selling the market when that is in play. I want to see the market get above that resistance first, and then a move into that level there. I was looking to trade CHF JPY yesterday for some shorts, because on the daily it was looking quite good from Friday. As you can see there, we had a nice push to the upside, formed that high, came back down, formed a lower high, nice bearish momentum. So I was looking to see if the market can retrace a little bit more, form a lower high there, and then take it down. But as you can see, that did not happen there for CHF JPY at all, really. All the retracement that happened on Monday was pretty much this bullish candle there and that doji, and then from there we broke to the downside really aggressively. So CHF JPY right now is looking quite bearish, and I did expect to see the other pairs, other JPY pairs to follow behind it, like pound JPY, CAD JPY, Euro JPY as well, to follow in CHF JPY's direction. However, a lot of those pairs kind of just didn't have much momentum. CHF was really weak, and as you can see, a lot of those pairs were just consolidating and actually broke a little bit to the upside. So for this pair, it's definitely bearish, and we've come into a nice area of support on the daily here, which is kind of this area here. So we'll support here, now we'll come into that area. If we can break through that level there, then we'll probably push back into these areas here with all those wicks, kind of that 18, 19 area. So we'll see if that happens there, because the momentum on the daily is picking up to the downside. And 4H, 1H is still, pretty much to the downside as well. So if we do break through this, hold that underneath as resistance, could be a nice selling opportunity there to take it back down to those lows. But with all that momentum that we just had over Friday and Monday, I do want to see some retracement back against the upside before we do take this one down again. Nice area of support here, and also nice area of supply there as well. So if you can come back, retrace into that kind of 120,500, then I think there'll be some nice selling opportunities to take that back into the same area, and then potentially back into that area down there. But like I said, the market is looking far too bearish. Want to see the market retrace first, give us a nice entry opportunity, and then take it back down. But yeah, the market's just too bearish, so we'll leave CHF JPY alone. Was expecting the other pairs, like GJ, to follow behind it, but it's actually looking bullish a little bit after kind of breaking out that consolidation there. So we'll see what happens with those other JPY pairs and JPY across today. I'm really interested in seeing how these daily candle closes, especially for GJ, where it wants to break through this trend line, break through that resistance, or pull all the way back and turn bearish. And then I'll make a judgment from that. So there could be some nice opportunities on Wednesday to take advantage of these JPY pairs. But yeah, I think for today I'll probably stay on the sidelines after that movement there. Euro USD for this one, still looking quite bearish. We're still pushing to the downside. I said for this one I'll be looking for some retracement for Euro USD, but we haven't had much of that. You can see we've had pretty much consolidation from Monday, and then from there we had the sell-off, and I did want to see the market push up a little bit more, but it hasn't really happened, and the market is still looking quite bearish if pushing to the downside. So I did say it would be nice to see if Euro USD can pick up some bullish momentum back into this area here. It was price support across here, and now will be term resistance. As you can see, it was term resistance there. So if price can come up one more time, reject that, and then sell off back down to that support, which is our targets. 1.71 is the targets for Euro USD this week. As you can see, was pretty much this support, for that massive move to the upside. It's this support here. That's what I'm expecting price to head to. And it looks like, price is probably going to hit that target today if that momentum keeps up. So we'll see what happens for Euro USD from there, because we could be seeing some nice buying opportunities back up again, especially with all this bearish momentum here, pretty much from that wick to the upside, come back down. NFP play came into play, took it to the downside, and we haven't really seen much bullish momentum retracing any of these bearish movements. So I do think the buys, even though we are up against it a little bit, up against the momentum of the higher time frames, I do think buying opportunities will look good, because the market definitely does need to retrace at some point, and when it does, it probably give us some nice big bullish candles to the upside. So I think from here there could be some nice buying opportunities, but definitely be on the cautious side of things, and definitely wait for those extra confirmation and a really good opportunity, because there's a chance that price can actually break through this and actually go and hit some new lows past this point. This is just the support next to price, but price can potentially push past that, especially for all that momentum down the daily, and maybe even push to areas like this down here. So if that's the case, definitely don't want to be buying from here, because momentum could actually take us all the way back down into these lows here. So do be aware of that. The market is bearish, it could push on a lot further, but if it does give us some nice rejection from that support and does turn bullish, I do think we could see some nice upside back into this area, and then if we can break through that, maybe a lot further. But for now, I did say I want to see a price come back up, retest that, then fall, but it's just looking too bearish here for Euro USD on the hourly. Pound USD, not too much. It's not looking as bearish as Euro USD, so clearly Euro is a lot weaker than the pound. If you look at Euro GBP, you can see Euro GBP is falling to the downside quite aggressively there. So that does back up the statement. Euro is being a little bit more weaker than the pound as of yet, or the pound is stronger than the euro. So yeah, for the pound, if you can see that strength just creeping a little bit more to the upside, that would be fantastic. Back into this area here, 1.388, retest that, reject that, and then come back down to 1.38 down there, and then 1.37500 down here. So just like Euro USD, I'm seeing a lot more downside for pound USD as well. I do think we can knock some of those psychological levels out with pound USD, because pretty much pound USD last week just consolidated, whereas Euro USD did consolidate as well. But by the end of the week, we saw all of this momentum to the downside, and pound USD didn't really have it, barely anything to the downside apart from that big move there. So I think pound USD is going to play catch up a little bit, catch up with Euro USD, see some nice downside for this pair. And again, I think we can go hit 1.37500 down there this week potentially. Definitely if that DXY pushes onto those highs, because DXY I'm still quite bullish on for this pair. I do think DXY pushing to 93.150 does look good, and 93.150 was this prior high all the way out there. Massive collapse to the downside, and now we're coming back into that same area. So I expect price to come and hit this, and then probably push on, see some higher highs from that. And if DXY can push on past this resistance, see some higher highs, there's a good chance pound USD will push on as well. Go and test 1.38 and probably go and test 1.37500 down there as well. So expecting more upside for the DXY, hence why I'm expecting more downside for Euro USD, more downside for pound USD, more downside for AUD/USD, more downside for NZD/USD. All those pairs. Again, I'm not going to trade all of them, just pick the best one, because I don't need to trade all of them, because if they all fail, if I take all of them and one fails, probably they all fail or they all work. So there's no need to over trade and maximize on my risk and just trade the best opportunity. Same thing for the other USD pairs like USD CAD. I'm expecting a bit more upside for this pair, potentially even a break of that resistance, but if we can hold that, then I can see a nice drop back into that support. If the DXY does continue that momentum. USD JPY, like I said in my weekly analysis, I'm bullish on USD JPY. I'm expecting a test of 110.800 this week, which is this daily resistance here. So if I zoom out this area of daily resistance across here, that is my target for USD JPY this week. I did say I want to see a bit more retracement for this pair, but like Euro USD, I don't think we're going to get that retracement. So I've highlighted this area here. If price can come back, retest that area, that would be great, and take it back into that resistance. That would be a great opportunity there for USD JPY, but I'm not sure if it will do that even. It's looking very bullish now, and could actually just slowly just leak to the upside back into this area. Without me, if that's the case, that's perfectly fine. But if you can have one more retracement to the downside, test that and take it back up again, that would be great. But like I said, USD JPY looking a little bit too bullish for that, so I'm probably expecting more upside. There might be some selling opportunities from up there. I'm not really too much interested in that, not really too much interested in selling the USD this week. But if there's a good opportunity, I will look to take it, of course. But so far, I'm just expecting more upside for USD JPY back into that level. So the main pairs I am focusing on this week so far is pound USD. If you can see that retracing back up again, focusing on AUD/USD as well. If you can come back up again, this pair might not do so. It's looking quite bearish, but if you can, that would be great. Like I said, we can come back into this area, reject that area. I will look to sell it back down into these lows, which is around 0.72895. Back down to those lows. I did say on my weekly analysis video, if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go do so. I do expect new lows for AUD this week, past that wick there, maybe even down to 0.72500. So I will be looking to see if that can come into fruition, but I want to see price retrace one more time and then take it down after that. So focusing on shorts on AU, focus on shorts on GU as well, to take that back down again. GJ, I'm kind of neutral on this. I was selling this one on Monday, however, as you can see, we broke to the upside, so it has knocked me out the trade. But I am still having that bearish bias for pound JPY, but we do need to stay below this resistance and kind of try and get back below this trend line here as well. If I go on the daily, you can see we're kind of pushing to the upside, but we do have this really nice trend line that price has been rejecting for quite some time now. And I want to see price, hold underneath that trend line, hold underneath that resistance, and then see some downside from that. So yeah, I'm looking for that downside to come through for pound JPY, but you can see that momentum there. Big kick to the upside on the 4H candle. You can see a little bit better on the hourly, and yeah, I don't really want to sell it against that momentum anymore. So I'm going to wait for a price to close on the daily, see what type of candlestick we get on the daily, see what type of price action we get throughout the day here, and then I'll make my judgment at the end of the day, and then stick my bias for Wednesday after that, or maybe even Thursday if I need a bit more information. But yeah, price now for GJ is looking bullish, and if that does keep up, we could push on a little bit more, and then if that happens, I'll probably just scrap the pair, put it on the back burner for the rest of the week. Also, I was looking for CAD JPY sells as well, but we are pushing to the upside, and the market is just really choppy right now in that consolidation. I was looking to trade this one coming into the week, but then looking at this price action here is put me off a little bit. Maybe if you can see some crazy rejection from here, that'll be great. A nice wick to the upside, something like that. That'll be good. Big wick there, come down, take a lot of people's stop losses, come back down, then that could open up the doors to some nice selling opportunities. But like I said, we are kind of consolidating, so first target does have to be this support here. But if you can break through that support, then I can see a lot more downside for CAD JPY, because it does look like the head and shoulders could be coming into play there. The left shoulder, head, right shoulder, then potentially from that a nice sell off to the downside back into this support here. So I can see some nice downside there for CAD JPY for the bigger swing, obviously. But yeah, it's just too choppy for me. So overall, it's not the clearest opportunity, not the clearest trade. GU, AU, they look a lot better opportunities than CAD JPY right now. So I'm going to be focusing on those pairs a little bit more. But if I can see some nice rejection from here, price comes back down again, there could be some nice short-term sales, not short-term, medium to long-term sales for CAD JPY back down into that support. So I will be aware of that, but we're just looking too bullish now, so I will put those on the back burners. Pound CHF, I was looking to short this pair last week. However, as you can see, we're looking very bullish right now. So CHF is definitely weak. We've gone over that. And pound is definitely one of the stronger pairs. And as you can see, we're pushing to the upside very aggressively here. We did see a lot of bearish momentum from last week. I mean, the week before. I was expecting that to kick off to the downside, as you can see. However, we found support and kicked off, and now we're seeing that momentum taking us back again to the upside. So pound CHF is looking very bullish here, and yeah, I'm just gonna be staying away from this pair. It's coming to a key area of resistance here, which is this area. As you can see, numerous wicks into this level. This level's held really well in the recent weeks, so I do expect to see some type of downside from that level, especially with all of this momentum here. Definitely does need to see some retrace eventually, but pound CHF, I'll probably stay away from this pair. It's looking very bullish here. Might see some retracement back down to that level there potentially, but yeah, not too sure if that will happen even, because it's just too bullish. It might not even retrace that far anyway. So pound CHF, leaving that alone. Was interested in last week, not interested in this pair anymore. There could be some nice short-term sells on the lower time frames from this level. So if you're looking to catch any potential, quick moves, I think pound CHF could be a good one, because it's quite stretched. The pair It's had a massive, big move to the upside. It's very, very stretched. Does need to retrace eventually, and this is a very key daily resistance level that keeps failing to break through, so it could provide some nice short-term sells. But yeah, just not a pair that I will be looking at this week. Euro GBP, like I said, for this one, still looking bearish here. This one finally hit its target. Euro GBP for about a month now. I'd said price, probably going to hit this support there all the way back when price was here or something. And as you can see, it's just been so choppy, giving moves up, down, wicks everywhere. So it's been taking its time. Euro GBP is known for doing that sort of stuff as well. It can be very choppy. When it does trend, it trends really well. As you can see here, massive trend there. But then prior to that, we had all of this, consolidation. So, Euro GBP is known for its choppy price action, and it's been giving us that price action lately. However, so far it's starting to break to the downside and see some nice momentum there. As you can see, we had this trend line in the market last week, broke to the upside, came back, retested, and now I see that momentum pick up to the downside. So for this one, targets are at this 0.84 level down here. That's what I'm expecting price to go to. So if anyone's looking to trade Euro GBP, for me, it does have to be selling opportunities, not looking for buys for this pair at all. Nice prior area support there. So if we can come back, retest that, that would be great, and take it back down again. Again, a bit of a long-term trade, so you don't have to target, all the way down at 0.84. But yeah, if it can retrace, come back down, reject that area, there could be some nice short-term sells, but it's just too bearish. We're at some new lows. Going to leave Euro GBP alone until it retraces, and then we could be opening up some nice doors to sell the pair later on. But as of right now, I'm just going to leave it alone. Pushing to some new lows, looking very bearish. Definitely don't want to be selling the pair there. Like I said, for the USD, I want to see a bit more retracement for this one. But again, the same, another USD pair. I'm still expecting more downside, expecting upside from the DXY, downside for this pair here. Had a nice spike to the upside this week, but overall, if you look at the bigger picture on the weekly, we are still looking bearish. So I still do see more downside for the USD. We are looking quite bearish here, so not going to sell the pair after this nice collapse to the downside. Want to see price can come back up one more time, similar situation to what we have on AU and GU. Come up, retest this. I do see a nice selling opportunity there for the USD. Targets will be for this pair, this support here, that support there, and then that support all the way down there. So I think the USD has a lot of mileage on it, because this pair has been consolidating quite some time. So if we do see a pushback down to lows for the USD, there is a lot of mileage on this pair. If we measure that in pips all the way back down to lows from that resistance here, we're looking at over 140 pips to the downside. So I think if we do get that retracement for the USD, the mileage on this one looks really good. The risk to reward looks great, depending on how your entries are. But yeah, more downside for the USD. But first, I want to see that push to the upside, come back, retest this level, and then I'll look to take it back down into that support, there as well. And same thing for AU. But do know, I'm not taking all of these trades. I'll probably post the best one on my Telegram. So if you haven't subscribed to that or checked it out, feel free to do so. Link to that in the description below or at the top of the chat. But yeah, if I do get any opportunities on these, I will share it with you guys. But yeah, I want to see a retracement first before I do get involved, and hopefully we could get that later today, maybe in the New York session, or maybe overnight in the Asian session we can get that retrace. But yeah, looking for that retrace before I do get involved in any of these opportunities. But yeah, I think GU is probably the pair I want to focusing on mainly. Retrace back into this level here, give us a nice second test of that area, double top, test it once, test it again at that resistance, and then a nice sell off back down to 1.38. So that's probably the main opportunity I will be focusing on so far for today at least, or maybe even this week, depending if the opportunity does look very, very good. I'll probably look to focus it on a lot more, but yeah, it does need to retrace a little bit more, because it obviously doesn't have to do that. It could just continue bearish. But with that momentum that we saw this morning here, nice spike to the upside. Hopefully it can pick up again during New York, back into here, consolidate for a little bit, and then maybe take it back down later in the New York session, or maybe even tomorrow morning. But yeah, guys, if you're looking at any different pairs, if you've got any pairs on your watch list that you're looking at, you've got an opportunity or something that I've missed, a nice potential opportunity that you're looking at and I haven't talked about yet, let me know, drop it in the chat. I'll take a look at it, see what's going on with those pairs. Or if you know any trades as well, feel free to share or take a look at them, see if we can get any nice trades together or something like that. But feel free to share if you're in any trades, or if you want me to take a look at any pairs for you and you just want my opinion on anything, just drop in the chat, and I will take a look at those pairs for you. Hi, Ronnie. Yeah, sure. I'll take a look at Euro JPY. So I'll start fresh. What time frame are you looking to trade Euro JPY on? Are you looking at the intraday, or are you looking at higher time frames? Let me know. But yeah, for Euro JPY, I'm bearish on Euro JPY. You can see the price action on the daily is bearish there. I'm expecting more downside for Euro JPY coming into this area of support here as well. Very, very strong area of price support. So again, 1, 2, 3, bit of a false break, but support again, 4, 5, and now we broke through it. Now we're testing as resistance. So I do think Euro JPY can be a good pair to look for short opportunities back into these lows here. It looks like we just rejected that quite nicely there on the hourly. A little bit of a trend line here in the market, so the market is still a little bit choppy. But yeah, I think Euro JPY to the downside does look good. This 129,650 is a very strong level, and I think we just come back to retest that as resistance. So I think if you can break through that trend line, because we haven't quite broke through it yet, because you can see it's still intact there. It did pull back up. This hourly candle is of course below it, but it can still pull up. It still has 36 minutes before it does close, so it's still keep that in mind. But yeah, rejecting that resistance. So I think as long as the market stays below this resistance here, I do see a move to the downside there for Euro JPY. So biases to the downside, and so far we've just seen a nice wick there, and the market is pulled back. So yeah, I think Euro JPY, as long as it stays below there, I think another move to the downside. If we can break through that trend line on that candle, that would be great. That could be a nice entry trigger to take those shorts. But yeah, Euro JPY to the downside, first target's got to be this support here, because obviously it's just rejected price, so it could reject it again, push it back up, something like that. But yeah, I think more downside for Euro JPY back down into these lows here, 129,200, and then maybe even these lows all the way down there. You know, that wick there where we spiked down, which is around 128,650. Again, you don't have to target all the way at that low, because it is quite a drop, but I think a push back down to this level here does look quite good there for Euro JPY, 129,200. So if we can keep up that, because if this candle does turn bullish, starts trying to break through this resistance, closes above here, something like that, then I'll probably scrap that idea, because it's broken back above, now acting as support. I'll probably scrap that, and Euro JPY might want to push back into these levels up there, which could be a nice opportunity as well. To be fair, break and retest of that, take it back up to that resistance. That could be another nice opportunity. But yeah, if it can stay below that, I think some nice sells for Euro JPY back down to that support. Then if you can break through that support, back down into that area there. So yeah, that is what I'm favouring there for Euro JPY. I mean, are you looking for shorts as well, or are you waiting for any buying opportunities of that pair? Or are you already in a Euro JPY trade? Yeah, sure, no problem. Happy to help there. Like I said, the main pair I'm focusing on is pound USD. I want to see if we can get a bit more retracement for that pair to the upside, and then I'll look to set it back down again. But yeah, not too sure for this one. See if we can get a bit more retracement for that one. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong. Just wait for price action to develop a little bit more so it's clearer. I mean, if you're not too sure which way to enter yet, then just don't enter and wait for that clear opportunity to come, that aha moment, and then look to take the trade. There's no rush. There's no need to get into any trades yet. And if it's not presenting really clear to you, then the best thing is to stay out, because that's where a lot of people do slip up. Taking opportunities that they know it's not too clear, but they just feel like they need to take a trade. So if that's the case, that's cool. That happens all the time. Happens to me all the time as well. If it's not clear, yeah, just don't take the trade. On my watch list, pound USD is kind of the main pair I'm focusing on, but I want to see a bit more retracement for this pair and then sell it back down into these lows. Euro USD is on my watch list as well, but it looks like it's kind of left without me. As you can see, we've had this drop there. I want to see price come back up, retest this area, then come down, but it doesn't look like that happening. That is happening. This is my target for this week. Is 1.71, 1.71, yeah, 1.171. Yeah, is my target for this week, and as you see, kind of just hitting that area as well anyway. So yeah, I want to see price can push back up into that resistance and then take it back down again. But yeah, I'm not too sure if that will happen for Euro USD, so I'm kind of neglecting that one a little bit. CAD JPY is also my watch list. I'm looking for a potential selling opportunity for this one. If you can reject that resistance, I'll look to sell it back down again. But you can see the price action is very choppy. All of this is a basic consolidation, so I'm not too sure about CAD JPY anymore. If it does give me a bit more clearer setup there at that resistance, then that could give me a bit more confidence about the pair. But the price action is just not really good at this moment in time for CAD JPY, so not too interested in it anymore. AUD is on my watch list as well. I want to see another drive back up into this resistance, form a nice double top, 1-2, similar to pound USD. Then I'll look to take that back down into lows as well. So I'm also looking at some retracement to the downside, and then also USD CAD as well for potential short-term sells from this resistance back down again into that level there, because USD CAD has had this nice retracement between, not retracement, consolidation, sorry, between this resistance here and that support. And just want to see if the market can repeat that again, another drive into that resistance and take it back down to that support. So nice short-term opportunity there for USD CAD that I will be looking at, and those are kind of the main pairs I'm looking at. USD CAD shorts from that level there, 1.26. Pound USD shorts if you can retrace. AUD shorts if it can retrace as well. Euro USD shorts if it can retrace, but I don't think that's happening. And CAD JPY as well, but it's not looking too clear at this moment in time. So far, kind of like Pound USD and AU, the main pairs I'm focusing on, and USD CAD, if it can hit that 1.26 level, I'll start looking at a little bit more in detail as well. Yeah, that pound JPY trade is not valid anymore. The price is looking way too bullish, so I would not be looking to short that anymore. I still do have a bearish bias, but it might be turning bullish if that momentum does keep going. If it does keep going and break through this barrier here, then I'll probably just switch my bias to bullish and look for new setups. But if it can reject this, come right back down, that'll be good if it can do that. Give us a nice daily candle closure. And I think from Wednesday we could look for some nice sells, but at this moment in time it's invalid and it could actually push further on. So yeah, I'm staying away from pound JPY for now and waiting to see if we can get a clear opportunity either later today or later this week potentially. Yeah, Euro is hitting that support. That was kind of the area that I was looking to sell Euro USD into, this daily support all the way over here. I was looking to sell it into that support, but as you can see, it kind of hitting that support already. The market, I was looking for the market to retrace a little bit more, but I just didn't do that yesterday. Just consolidated before breaking to the downside. So I did say again this morning when price was around here, if it can retrace back up again, come back down, but as you can see, it's just falling to the downside there. So Euro USD is looking very bearish. Looks like it's coming into that 1.17100 support. So yeah, I'll probably stay away from Euro USD. Might be some potential short-term buys from here, but not too interested in that move. I'm more interested in selling Euro USD than buying it. But yeah, it might not be a pair that I look to get involved in so far this week anyway. Maybe later in the week something could happen, but not now. Yeah, pound USD, just want to see that one more push up and I'll take it down. Same with AU as well. But yeah, Euro is approaching a support. If you're looking to buy it, that could be a nice opportunity, like I did say earlier in the stream, because Euro USD's had this massive sell-off to the downside without much bullish movement. So it is due some nice upside momentum for retracement at least. I'm not saying it's going to reverse or whatever, but I'm just saying that as the market moves, we do see a pullback eventually, and coming from this area here, we should be expecting to see some type of pullback. It could break through it, of course, but if it can hold, we should be seeing some potentially nice buys back into this resistance here, I think, for Euro USD. So short-term buys back into that level there for Euro USD could be a nice opportunity, but of course we're not quite at that level yet, and we need to see what price action we get in there as well. So something to have an eye on, but yeah, it's not quite there yet, so I won't focus too heavily on that. But Euro USD buys from that support may be a thing, maybe not be a thing. We'll see what type of price action we're getting, because if momentum picks up again like this, definitely don't want to be buying into that. But if it starts to lose a lot of momentum, starts to get choppy, a lot of wick rejection, something like it did here, with all those wicks failing to break through, there could be some nice buys. But yeah, nothing there yet. I'm still expecting more upside for the DXY as well, back into 93,150, which is that resistance there, was the prior high here, massive drop. I'm still expecting price to come into that resistance there for the DXY. So if I'm expecting more upside from the DXY, I should still be expecting more downside for the Euro USD as well. Hence why I'm still bearish in that pair, and of course pound USD still expecting more downside from that one as well. But yeah, I want to see if I can get that retracement first. Pound does have some strength about it, so hopefully that strength will take pound up, and then we can sell it back down again. So we do have about 22 minutes before I do look to end the stream. So if anyone wants me to look at any different charts, do let me know. I will take a look at them. We also got 22 minutes before this hourly candle does close. Across these pairs. So far it looks like pound USD is still holding up with that strength from this morning. As you can see, a nice push there out of this kind of consolidation there. So a really nice push to the upside there for pound USD, and hopefully that can continue back into this area here. Now we'll look to sell it back down again. And another drive back into here. And I'll look to sell it back down again, back into these lows. Back into these lows here. And then obviously you can break through back down into 1.38, then maybe even 1.37500 if I'm feeling lucky. Then I might push it back down a little bit more. Don't want to be too overly aggressive. That's probably one of my weaknesses of my trades, trying to push them on too much and not exiting earlier and taking my profit earlier. So I will probably just look to aim for 1.38. That was my target, 1.38 from last week anyway. So I'll probably just look for a push into there, but hopefully one more push into the New York session for pound USD, back into there, and I'll look to sell it back down again. Same thing for AU. Let's see how AU is doing. Yeah, AU starting to push up as well, so hopefully we can see one more push up. New York session as well. I haven't checked if there's any news going on for USD this week or today even. So I'm checking now if there's any news. US dollar, we do have some news, but it's only medium impact later today in about 2 hours time, so that probably won't cause any damage to the markets. We do have some USD news tomorrow, however, 1:30 GMT tomorrow, so that could have an impact. But for today, it doesn't look like there's much news going on for today. So hopefully, we can have a nice smooth ride for these USD pairs: pound USD, AUD USD, Euro USD. To the upside here, retrace back into this area of supply here, stroke that area of resistance, reject it, and now look to sell it back down. Again, targets will have to be this price support here because it has obviously rejected price. It could come back double bottom, do that again. So that will be the first target, but then if you can break through that, then I will be targeting these lows all the way down here. And like I said before, I will be choosing one pair to trade, either AUD/USD, NZD/USD, or pound USD, and not trading all of them. So NZD/USD, I'm waiting for another drive back into here, and now look to sell it back down again into this area here. Again, risk to reward does look really good, and then back into this level here as well. So I'm seeing a lot more downside for these pairs, and hopefully, NZD/USD does have quite a big gap to fill if it was to get to that resistance. I measure that's about 28 pips, so it can do that in the New York session, of course, but it's a little bit in a gap, whereas pound USD, it's not too far away. AUD/USD, it's a little bit of a gap as well, but I think it can still do that, so hopefully it could do that, and then I will look to pick the best pair, the best price action, best risk reward as well, factor those elements in, and then I'll look to take that trade, and I'll probably post it in my Telegram as well, so make sure you have subscribed to that. And yeah, I'll let you guys know if there's an opportunity for those pairs. But yeah, those are the pairs I'm focusing on most. USD CAD, I do see a nice short-term opportunity, but I'll take a look at that. I'm not too sure if I'll enter it, if I'm going to enter pound USD short or AUD USD short, because it kind of contradicts what I'm saying. Because if I take a pound USD short, implying that pound's going to be weak and USD is going to be strong. And if USD is going to be strong, then I shouldn't really be selling USD CAD. But price action is price action at the end of the day, and that's the only thing I can be consistent with is price action. So yeah, if price action does give us a nice opportunity here, I might take a reduced risk, so only half what I normally risk, and then take a short from there to the downside from 1.26 back down to 1.24, 25450. So yeah, that could be a nice opportunity there. Still do have a bit of a long way to go, so maybe the New York session could give this a kick to the upside as well, maybe even a kick to the downside. We'll see what happens. But yeah, if I come into that, reject that 1.26, I probably will take a short. And if I'm taking pound USD, I'll probably lower my risk back down into that area. But yeah, we'll see from there. CAD JPY so far is rejecting that resistance there quite nicely. So again, I'm not going to enter a sell on that one just because it's rejecting that resistance. The pair is still too choppy for me. So I'll probably let it be a little bit. I'm focusing more on the USD pairs rather than JPY, especially after that momentum there. But if we do see price, just come straight back down there, back into this level here, it probably means that this move up was, what the hell was that? This move up was just a fake move, and then we'll come straight back down just to cancel out. So if it does come all the way back down to this area, and this is the demand zone of where we saw that momentum. So as you can see, if I just remove that for a second, so you can see we had two dojis there. So price was obviously accumulating, building up on the lower time frames, and a massive burst to the upside of all that bullish momentum. So if we can retrace all the way back to the origin of that big burst to the upside, these dojis here with the same momentum, so strong bearish candles back down again, and that probably means that this move here was just a fake. And then yeah, if that's the case, then I'll probably look for another lower high formation, price to retrace, and I'll take it back down into that support. And then if you can get a break of that support, probably look to ride it further down, maybe this support here next, and maybe that support all the way down there as well. So if that can happen, that will obviously get me interested in CAD JPY again. I am looking for shorts for this pair, and yeah, I do have that short bias on this pair, same with GJ as well. But yeah, we'll be waiting for that opportunity to come. I mean, that momentum there is looking good, so so far it's showing some nice signs there for CAD JPY shorts. It is showing some nice signs, but need a little bit more than that because of this aggressive push here. But we'll see what happens with those pairs. But like I said, the main pair I'm focusing on is pound USD and AUD USD anyway. So if I get any of these pairs, I might just stay away from CAD JPY anyway. But yeah, if I can get another drive up there, that'd be great, and take it back down. That's what I'll be looking for pound USD in the New York session. Hey Will, you joined us. Um, USD CAD shorts, yeah. I was just talking about USD CAD. I do see some nice short opportunities for that pair. It's coming into this area where we had some consolidation a couple weeks ago now. So as you can see, 1.26, 1.25, 400, nice resistance and support. Price has been fluctuating between those two levels. So I did say price can have one more move to the upside back into here. Now we'll look to short it back down from 1.26 back down to that support. And if you can break through that support, maybe even further as well, do have some nice levels down there. Price can come and retest. But yeah, USD CAD looks good for some shorts. It's in this consolidation coming into that resistance, which gave this massive move to the downside. So USD CAD shorts do look good. We did have kind of a bit of a sell off there. It failed to really kick off, got about halfway, and then it reversed. NFP did play a big factor in that. But yeah, we are looking a little bit bullish here, pushing into that. But this is a key area of resistance, key area of supply on the daily as well. So yeah, one more drive into 1.26, and I will look to sell USD CAD to the downside as well, a bit of that trend line, so something like that. But yeah, USD CAD looks good for sales, and ADCHF likewise as well. ADCHF is pushing to the upside here on the 4H. I did highlight this area of daily resistance here, so nice early resistance where we took a dive to the downside and we're slowly creeping back into that resistance there. We've been obeying this trend line quite well, multiple tests of this trend line, so I think we've got another kick into that resistance, but from there I do see some nice selling opportunities developing for ADCHF back again to the downside. And again, I did highlight this area here, nice area of support, nice drive to the upside. We'll be acting as support there again. We could obviously sell off a lot further all the way down to those lows here. That could easily happen, but I'm mainly looking for that push back down into this area. Then if we can break through that area, then we might be seeing price go a lot further. But I think ADCHF has a little bit more mileage on it to the upside. It's looking quite bullish here, as you can see. It's looking quite bullish for that momentum there in the full H after breaking out that consolidation. So a little bit more to the upside, I think, for ADCGF back into 0.67800, back into this area here. There's also price support there as well, so if I just extend that across, nice area acting as support. Nice area acting as support, nice drive to the upside. Will be resistance again. So yeah, ADCHF does look good for some shorts, especially with the price action we've got in the 4H and the daily slowly pushing to the upside. I do think it's time for us to see a bearish close on the daily and see some downside, and also for USD CAD as well on the daily. It's looking like it's coming to a very key area. If we go on the daily as well, you can see you're pushing to that area, so could see some downside. But like I said, a little bit more upside for USD CAD, because again, even this 4H candle here pull back, nice wick to the downside, but it's pulled all the way back up there, so that's not a good sign for USD CAD. Obviously we still could push to the downside from that candle, but that's not normally a good sign there for USD CAD. So I think we could see a little bit more upside for this pair, and then from that 1.26 level, I think we could see some nice selling opportunities, sell it back down into that support there. But like I said, a break of that support, probably could see another move back down into this sort of area here, maybe even further as well. But yeah, USD CAD shorts from 1.26 I will be looking at to take it back into that level from the lower time frames. Probably looking at the hourly or maybe the 30-minute time frame for that, but kind of the same move, looking for USD CAD back down into that support, and then yeah, maybe even that support there as well if we can break through. But like I said, the main pair I'll be focusing on is pound USD, some shorts on that pair as well. We've seen some nice consolidation. Looks like we are starting to break out to the downside of it. We saw that breakout there, came back, retest, and now we're seeing some more downside. And now we found some support, and we're seeing some upside this morning. So hopefully that upside can take us back into that resistance again. Looking for a second rejection of that resistance. So we saw one yesterday, looking for another one again today, and looking to take that right down to 1.38. So that's mainly what I'm looking for pound USD. As the USD, same thing as well, looking for price to come back, reject this area. We saw one, looking for the second. and then I will take this back. Oh, I will take this back down again into that support and that support. So looking for USD again, and I'm also looking for AUD as well. Looking to short AUD from that support back down again. So hopefully you can get those opportunities over over the New York session, or maybe London session tomorrow morning. CAD JPY, yeah, like I said for this one, CAD JPY is at an area of resistance. I'm so far treating this price action of CAD JPY as consolidation. We've seen recently a massive move to the upside, so I said if price does break through this resistance here, I do think we'll probably push to 88,100. If you can reject this resistance here, dump to the downside again, then I think CAD JPY will probably be wanting to break out of this consolidation to the downside. If that's the case, I'll be looking for a lower high inside this consolidation, and then I'll take it back down to that support, and then back down into this support here, 87,100. As you can see if I zoom out, nice support there, will be acting as support there again. But yeah, if it does break to the outside of this consolidation for CAD JPY, then I do see a push to 88,100, which is this resistance here, and maybe even this resistance all the way up here as well. We could actually push into that area there. Just clear this up. Yeah, so we could see a lot more upside for CAD JPY if we do break through this resistance to the upside. But as you can see, we've seen some nice wicks from this area. So obviously you've seen price struggle from here. So if you do see that momentum, you know, take us above this, see a nice close above that, then we could be in some breakout territory. And if that momentum does continue, then yeah, it looks like I'll push into this wick and then 88,100 and then maybe 88,250 up there. So we could see more upside. But like I said, if it doesn't break through that, rejects it, holds, and we see price, you know, collapse to the downside, then I think we could be breaking to the downside out of this consolidation and back into that support. So CAD JPY, I want a bit more from it. So far it's stalling there. If it keeps that up, we could see some downside. If it pulls back up, breaks through, then like I said, we could see a lot more upside for CAD JPY. Looking for longs for CAD for NZD/USD. Interesting. I'm looking to get a short in this pair. I'm looking to get a short in this pair because I still do have my bias for DXY to go up a little bit more. So that means I'm expecting more USD strength, and then I'm expecting, you know, NZD/USD to head to the downside. So I'm looking for kind of that opportunity there. I mean, it has been slowly trending to the upside, so I can see a push, pullback, push, pullback, push, potentially a pullback, another push. But I don't like the way it's moving. I was having that bullish bias from last week that NZD/USD was going to push on from here. And it did push on, but then it came back down quite aggressively. So, and it didn't take out this area of resistance here as well. So it's looking like NZD/USD kind of has like a big area of consolidation between that support and that resistance. I think it's just going to come back down and retest that support again. And after all, from higher time frames, NZD/USD is still looking quite bearish for me as well. So I'm looking to short NZD/USD back down to that support. If it does break through this area, I'll probably just let it be, see what it wants to do after that. But if it can reject that area, then yeah, I'll look to short NZD/USD back down to that support and then move back down to that area there as well. I do see some potential buys from here though. Some potential buys to the upside because I'm waiting for that gap to be filled. So if you're looking to buy from here, it does make sense. Probably first target will probably have to be this area. Then if you can break through that, you know, you can look to aim targets further on. But yeah, I'm looking to short NZD/USD from this level here, not from down there. If it can come up there, reject that, and I'll look to sell it back down again into that support. But we'll see if it does break through it. I'll let it go. But yeah, I'm expecting a push to the upside first. I'm looking to sell it back down again after that. So that's my bias there, and it kind of just sets, kind of just agrees with what I'm looking at across the board really, because I'm looking to sell pound USD, I'm looking to sell AUD/USD, I'm looking to sell Euro/USD. So yeah, it's just I'm expecting more strength in the dollar, so I'm trying to stay aligned with that as well. I know selling USD CAD does disagree with that a little bit, but price action is price action, and USD CAD coming into this area of consolidation. back at that resistance there, the probability of price just completing that swing back again to that support is quite high, so I will be looking for that short there for USD CAD. But yeah, on the 4 hour, not seeing too much, especially if that wick there. Maybe if that wick gets filled, it'll look a little bit better, but in my opinion, it doesn't look too good so far with those candlesticks. So a little bit more development, and maybe you could see a clearer opportunity coming our way there for USD CAD. Yeah, Euro USD's really sold off, pretty much from up there, sold off, broke to the downside. So yeah, I was looking to sell USD earlier on, but it's kind of moved on, so I'm not too sure. I'll probably leave Euro USD. Probably leave Euro USD on for now. It's coming back into this support here where we had that massive, push to the upside, that massive rally. But yeah, it depends what price wants to do at this same level now. Depends what price wants to do, whether it wants to hold or wants to push through. Hasn't quite tested it yet, so I think I can see a little bit more downside for Euro USD today or this week. But yeah, Euro USD hasn't quite hit that target yet, but if it does, I think maybe see some upside, because it has had a massive sell-off to the downside. But yeah, I think we could see some upside from that. Good morning, Jay. How are you? Hope you are doing well. Guys, I will be looking to wrap up the live stream in the next couple minutes or so. So if there's any last minute charts you want me to look at or anything you want to share, drop it down in the chat and I'll make sure I'll take a look at it now. Yeah, Euro USD is just falling out of the sky. I mean, gold really was the guy that fell out of the sky. Massive move to the downside for gold, and it's pulled back up so much as well from that support. So massive move for gold, massive move for Euro USD as well, or relative. Gold does have a lot more volatility behind it, but Euro USD is pumping to the downside, and I think pound USD wants to follow as well. So that's why I'm looking at getting involved in pound USD. Pound's obviously a little bit stronger than euro right now, hence why Euro USD is falling and pound USD is actually trying to climb. But hopefully that can change later in the week, and then you can take it back down again. But yeah, it's the end of the live stream, guys, so I will do a quick run through of some of the pairs that I'm focusing on this week, stroke today. On my watch list, I'll talk you guys through any opportunities I'm looking at, and then I'll look to end the live stream after that. But yeah, pound USD is definitely one pair I'm looking at. We had this consolidation from last week, support, now time resistance. We rejected that nicely on Monday, so I'm looking at the price going to come back one more time, reject that nice double top, sell it back down again into that 1.38 resistance there. I had that bearish bias from last week. I'm still keeping that into this week and looking for more downside there for pound USD, back down to 1.38 and then potentially 1.37500 there. So more downside for pound USD is what I'm seeing so far. AUD, another pair that I'm looking at, more downside from that one as well. You can see we had a nice sell off there, breaking through that trend line. Had a nice retest of that trend line as well, but I'm looking for price to come back, reject that area again, and then I'll look to sell it off to the downside, back into these lows. So I'm looking for that opportunity there for AUD. So far, it does have a little bit of a gap to fill, but hopefully New York session will give it the kick to the upside it needs, and then from there I'll look to sell it down again. Enter the USD. I'm waiting for another push to the upside for this pair. Again, does have quite a gap to fill to the upside for this one, but if it can get up here and reject it, I will look to sell it back down again, back into that support, and then back into that support as well. But yeah, more downside I'm seeing for NZUSD after that push to the upside into that resistance. USD CAD, I think I can see some nice short-term opportunities to short it back down again. I'm looking for one more drive back up to 1.26, then from here I'll look to sell it back down again. As you can see, we had some prior consolidation over here a couple of weeks back now. and 1.26 was the barrier of resistance, and 1.25 400 was the barrier of support. I'm looking for price just to swing back up into that resistance and just complete that same range that we had a couple of weeks ago, back down into that support. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for USD CAD to take it back down into that support, but waiting for one more drive to the upside first, and then I'll take it back down again. But yeah, those are the main pairs I'm looking at. CAD JPY as well, but it's not looking too clear for me. If it breaks the upside out of that consolidation, then we could see a push into that resistance, or maybe that resistance. But if it can break to the downside, then I can see a bit more. But overall, it's kind of moving sideways. So going to take what's the word? I'm going to take I want to put it on the sidelines, and then yeah, wait for more clarity before I see an opportunity. Best trade from last week was probably my Euro JPY trade from last week, which was this move here. Sold it from here, stop loss was above there, and took it back down into that support there. So that was probably my best trade from last week, pretty much early on as well. So yeah, Euro JPY, good shorts there to the downside. Pretty much all JPYs were looking very good at that time. I chose Euro JPY, but looking back, CAD JPY did have probably the best opportunity. As you can see, a massive move to the downside there. So could have chose CAD JPY, but essentially just traded the same move. So yeah, Euro JPY was good from last week. Hopefully I can see Euro JPY doing something again similar again this week. Another push to the downside is what I'm looking for. So I think Euro JPY might be decent as well, but I'm putting that on the back burner a little bit because I'm focusing more on pound. But if that can happen, then yeah, I think Euro JPY will look good as well this week as well. More shorts back down into this area there. But that is the end of the live stream, guys. Hope you all enjoyed that and found that useful. Like always, drop a comment if you have any requests in the future. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. But thanks, guys, for joining. Feel free to check out my Telegram channel. Got a link to that if you scroll up in the chat, or check out my description. Got a link to that. Post some trading setups there, so feel free to get involved in that if you want to. And if I do get an opportunity, some of the pairs that I've just talked about today, I will let you guys know in the Telegram channel as well. So feel free to go check that out. But thanks, guys, for joining the live stream. Really do appreciate that. Yeah, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. But thanks, guys, and I hope I see you again tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. GMT. Be there or be square. But have a good one, guys. Have a good day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.